Three. Awesome. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Welcome to another session live with Tracy. And we have here an amazing speaker, an amazing person who is also my mentor. And I mean, I lived with him like around 1.5 year with him in Chandigarh, and we had a lot of good memories, good experiences, and a technological discussions and a lot more stuff. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that I spent some part of my life with him, and there are a lot of things I understood from him and learned from him. And so basically, this is we have here Jospeh Teja. He is from Delhi, and he he works as a young professional at consultant and young professional at NITI Aayog, and he provides technical advice to decision makers to architect and build the electric mobility ecosystem in India. And also, he is passionate about using his training as a transportation engineer or planner to provide insights, building tools and solutions using state-of-the-art technologies. And we are here. Uh, let's continue the session by introducing him. Awesome. Okay, so Joseph, we are very glad that you're here, and I'm very honored. I'm very honored, and let's continue the session. So tell us a bit about yourself, which I haven't told the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. First of all, I'm so glad to be here and live with Tracy, and I'm so proud of you for the initiative that you have taken.
Thank
And I'm appreciative of what you're doing. And regarding about myself, as you have already given a bit of introduction, so the other thing that that is off late, I am enjoying cooking. And
that's good.
yeah, and my signature dish is making an absolutely delicious, cheesy sandwich, and
Wow.
a cheese sandwich and a strong ginger tea. And so whenever you come to Delhi and visit
Absolutely.
us, this is our menu for breakfast. You
Wow,
should remember.
wow, wow! That's so cool. That's so cool. I mean, I never
Yeah,
heard of you being a cook. I mean, I
yeah,
never imagined
yeah,
that, but it's cool. It's cool.
yeah,
I'm very
yeah,
glad. I'm
yeah.
very glad about that. Awesome, 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 Joseph. Um, so tell us a little bit about your childhood and your upbringing and your education for the audience, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am born in YSR Kadapa district in Andhra Pradesh, and I am the only child to my parents,
Nice.
and my father was a mason, and my mom was a social help group coordinator back in my village. She was a social help group coordinator, and she had also established a registered society to help the rural women on several financial inclusion programs back in those days.
Wow.
And I did, yeah, and I did all my schooling from my village, and later I had to move to another district for my 11th and 12th, where I got through this like this state entrance exam
Uh-huh.
for my bachelor's in technologies course, and then I studied my BTech in civil engineering from JNTU Anantapur University, and my master's from NIT Varangal.
Oh yeah,
And
that's good.
yeah. Part
That's
of my
very cool.
master's program, like I was sponsored by the German company to work in Germany for my master's thesis. So this is a little bit about my background around my childhood and education and all. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool, Joseph. I
Yeah.
think I know a little bit about your education, but I never thought your mom started an organization, a society to
Yeah.
help the women. That's an amazing job. I'm very proud. I'm
Yes.
very happy. I'm very happy that she did that.
That's around like two decades ago, 3 decades ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's no more functionable.
Mhm.
But yeah, she did it
But yeah,
in those
I think
days.
that
Yeah.
that impact maybe had that impact on you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. I'm very sure of
Yeah.
that. Super,
Yeah.
super, 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 Joseph. I'm very glad. And then, um, I want to ask you about the challenges you have
Yeah.
faced as a kid or as a teenager, and
Yeah.
what did you learn from them? Yeah.
Yeah, challenges part. So yeah, 2 decades ago, I grew up in a family like where all of our decisions are revolved around financial challenges. Like as a kid,
Yeah.
I could not afford to study in the school where my childhood friends, they were studying, and as a teenager, I could not afford to study, my favorite electronics and communication subject at a private institution.
Yes, that's understandable.
Yeah, but settled up with civil engineering in a government university because my uh, yeah, because of these financial challenges. These were the major challenges. So I
Mm-hmm.
was depressed and lived part of my life with disappointment and discontent, and yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. But the lesson I've learned, interesting, is look, in hindsight, what I learned is life is. I remember saying this to you all also, like to the team.
Mm-hmm.
What I learned is like life is like this beautiful picture which is made up of lots of pixels. A
Pixels.
picture, we connect with pixels very
Oh
close.
yeah.
A picture made of lots of pixels,
Mm-hmm.
and we all are limited to time and space at any and and at one point we only see within our limited time and space frame. We see just those few pixels
Mm-hmm.
and our few incidents in our life and say, hey, this is it, and we get depressed. But this has taught me, in hindsight, that life is bigger than the air we breathe. Yeah, life is bigger than the air we breathe. So that's the lesson
Awesome.
I've learned. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a very good story. I mean, the pixel story about what you said.
Yeah.
It's a very inspiring. I mean, when you consider the small pixels we live in, I mean the small pixels around us, we just see the small
Yeah.
pixels around us, and we miss the
Yeah.
complete big picture. The big picture
Yes.
that is very broad and creative and interesting,
Yeah.
wonderful big
Yeah.
picture. That's what we miss, and that is a very good story.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
super,
Yeah.
super, super.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you faced those challenges and you learned a lot from that. I'm very glad about that.
Yeah.
Super,
Yeah.
super. And yeah, um, yes. Tell us about your journey in working with various governments. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
as you started like as you finished your BTech and you finished your masters and
Yeah.
you started a thesis German company and German company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after that you started working for the governments, right?
No, I did. I worked with an agency. So post my masters, I've got an offer from Delhi. That's how I came to Delhi. So
Mm-hmm.
this firm is directly a part of an incubation center. It's part of the incubation program in
Mm-hmm.
IIT Delhi,
Wow.
and so they were working with government of Andhra Pradesh
Mm-hmm.
on few projects. That's where like I was asked to join the team. That's how I joined. But I closely started working with the governments in 2015. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I started working with Chandigarh administration
Wow.
from 2015, and my assignment there was to support the city officials and various mobility related projects, and
Mm-hmm.
and the journey of working with these governments is like here at Chandigarh administration, like I have started seeing closely the impact of policies that you propose and write uh, they're being executed by the officials, and you're watching your decisions being executed, and 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 I've seen it very closely. And one of the particular story I can recollect immediately was me standing before the Punjab and Haryana High Court judge, who was almost declared a judgment to convert every footpaths into to a parking place. Like basically, there was this few lawyers who parked their vehicles on footpaths, and the police charged them with fines, and the lawyers went to the court and asking them to convert these parking places to uh, these footpaths to parking places. And then there was a huge discussion, and court asked us to come over and present our justification. So we went as part of the team, and somehow the discussion went towards, like, the judge was making a decision saying that, hey, let's convert, the traffic congestion is the real issue, but the solution is, what I'm going to tell you is, let convert all the footpaths into parking places. So and there was I was like standing behind, and then I stepped in, came forward, like I told to this judge, that point of time, that was my first time being in court, and even standing before a judge, and it's completely different from what I've seen in movies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I can
I was
imagine
standing
that.
there, and so I told him, sir, this is not the right way of doing coming up with this kind of judgment. I told him a quote from Henry Ford. If you always do what you have always done, you will always get what you've always got. So if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. You want to solve the traffic congestion? So if you've been trying this kind of approaches for so long, if you do the same, you'll get the same results again. So I helped him in a kind of, like, we had this back and forth conversations, and then later, immediately, okay, he took a pause on the decision, and finally, like, he reversed the decision and asked the administration to work on, find the alternative solutions to solve the parking problems. And that was helped me to understand, to put your views even before this, in front of this judge, any higher officials. I mean, that was a bold. I never imagined in my life that I could do this, and yeah, I did it because I believe in fundamentals, and whatever I've learned, I've just told him, yeah, this is not working,
Mhm.
and he convinced, and he changed his decision. And now, in 2018, I started, working with NITI Aayog, and I picked my current assignment there as a young professional, and working in the electric, as you mentioned. I'm working in the electric mobility sector. In my short journey working with different government institutions at center and at state level. A major takeaway that has transcended from my professional life to personal life is a concept of not to let our resources spread too thin.
Mhm.
It's do not spread your resources too thin. And this is the concept that I that I that I that I learned, and yeah, it's a major takeaway from me, even to the extent from my professional life to personal life. Yeah, don't spread your resources too thin.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
I
is
mean,
my
yeah.
takeaway and experience of working with different
Governments.
governments.
Okay. So, can you
Yeah.
can you explain a little bit about the, letting the resources thin stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
do not spread your resources too thin.
Too
So,
thin.
yeah. So I'll share with you an incident. So our team was asked once to work on a major policy intervention, and looking at a scale like India is a huge country.
Absolutely.
Okay, huge country, and the resources you have, resources in terms of financial, like, is limited. You cannot, you know uh, when you go, like, we have so many cities. By the concept of, like, spreading our resources too thin, what happens is you cannot see the visibility of the impact, like, visibility of the impact. Let's say, for example, there's a huge difference. Yeah, like, focusing on few cities,
Mm-hmm.
you know focus on few cities and bring in all your resources and build the complete solution over there, and see the ripple effect from these cities. So this way, what you can do is, with your limited resources, you can still achieve, the outcomes that you want to see at a larger,
Scale.
yeah, spectrum. And yeah, because yeah, you cannot spread your resources too thin every time.
Every time.
and and yeah, and this is my learning. And I'm not saying this is the
Yeah, yeah.
way to go. This is my learning.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This is what I learned.
I mean,
Yeah.
and as you also told me that this is what you learned for your career and for your life. That's what you told.
Yeah, even for
Yeah,
personal life.
for personal life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can't be everywhere. Like, I can't be everywhere. And
Yes.
I'll choose my battles, and yeah,
Yes.
and that's it. And you choose your
Absolutely.
battles, and yeah,
We fight.
stand there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very glad that you learned a lot of stuff, and be you've been in very prominent places and with very prominent people, and that is that is very strong. That is very strong on your
Yeah.
part, and I'm very glad. I'm very glad that you faced a lot of high 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 control people and high decision makers, and you gave your opinions and you gave your statements to them. That is very impressive, and I'm so glad that you did that. And about the footpaths and footpaths making
Yeah.
the parkings, that is very cool. That is very cool. And
Yeah.
that is very
That was a
cool.
scary situation also. Like, later my boss, after the conversation, he said, you know what, it could have gone wrong also. The high court judge could have, caught
Fired
your
on
neck
you.
and put, yeah. Uh, and I wasn't even saying honorable judge. I was just talking to him like my boss, like, sir, this is not the way you do. This is how you got to do. And, like, there was senior standing counsels, like senior advocates who are actually defending. And yeah, so they were, since they were not the subject matter experts, and in the end, like, yeah, I've got to step in because the things were going in a different direction. And then, like, I voiced my opinions, and
Awesome.
that's, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a very cool, part of your life. I mean, that's a story that you can tell everyone. I mean, like your kids or everybody. I mean, that's very inspirational. Inspirational, like
Yeah.
standing on your beliefs, and standing firm on your beliefs, and opposing what the other beliefs are, if the other beliefs are making things go bad, right?
Yeah.
That's where you are very strong, and I really appreciate what you did there. I'm very glad.
Yeah. But one has to be very clear with their, as you said, beliefs and fundamentals. As I also said, fundamentals.
Yes.
Of solving a problem. The principle that I've learned as an engineer and working as a planner, is something is this, a city friend. If you create a city which is friendly, if you create city infrastructure which is friendly to 80-year-olds and 80-year-olds, like
Uh-huh.
kids, basically kids and to the older people.
Mm-hmm.
And the city will be that infrastructure will be friendly to all kind of ages, because these are the very vulnerable people.
Vulnerable
And one has to know their yeah, I've learned this principles, and then like, yeah, I've hold on to them. And not every time the government, like in the governments, like everybody yeah know immediately all these principles,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, since the times are changing very rapidly. Like you
Yes.
cannot bring in like 70-year-old solution to today's
That's very true. That's very true. I agree to that. I I
yeah,
I agree 100% to that. It's a,
yeah, yeah.
things are changing, and I'm glad people like you are still in the government, doing and fighting for a change. That's very impressive. So I'm very glad about that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tracy.
And okay, let's continue with the next question. Okay, so you mentioned a lot about electric mobility in your LinkedIn profile, and in
Yeah.
in a lot of places, and that you're closely working with implementing electric mobility and this stuff. So what do you think about electric mobility, and why do you think electric mobility is the next technology disruption in India?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, our current, energy, if you look at, when I say our current energy architecture, which is an atom, atom-based one, which is like petrol and diesel, like, which this and our entire world is moving away from this conventional atom-based energy architecture
Mm-hmm.
to bit-based and electron-based architecture. The internet-based architecture or electron-based architecture. The electric vehicles, what the fundamentals here is, you're displacing completely the dependency on petrol and diesel, and which majorly India imports, and
Yeah.
you're creating a new ecosystem where you have you're moving away from 2000. In a conventional vehicle there will be like 2000 parts,
Mm-hmm.
where in electric vehicle you have 20 parts. But two things majorly I could touch upon is batteries, and
Mm-hmm.
batteries which are majorly depend on electron chemistry. It's based on the chemistry.
Chemistry.
It's a cathode and anode, the movement of
Chemical
electrons.
reaction.
So
Yes.
that's how the function happens.
Yeah.
Batteries happen. And in battery management system, what happens is, it's a chip where like you write your software code to ensure the safety of the battery, like the life cycles, like how many cycles,
Cycle.
is it getting too hot or not, to ensure the cooling condition of the vehicle and different conditions of the vehicle. So we are basically essentially we are changing from these atom based energy infrastructure. Even not only we, the entire world is
The world,
moving
yes.
away from this kind of architecture to a bit based, electron based architecture. So this is like, and just to give an example,
Yeah.
Tracy, like
Yeah.
we all have seen disruptions by the internet
Internet.
and the cell phone. How the internet and the cell phone has turned the architecture of information. It's gone upside down.
Totally.
In decades ago,
Evolution.
like we had seen these basic phones for communication,
Yeah.
but now you have like smartphones have penetrated every corner. So this is our belief, like we believe, is the next technology disruption that will be driven, like how the cell phones from basic cell, how we have moved from basic cell phones to smartphones. How it got penetrated from this atom based energy infrastructure, like to the battery based, or even any alternative fuels. It won't be no more depending on petrol and diesel. So yeah, and electric vehicles are the new vehicle that is carrying the disruption across the world, across the economies, and this is our next technology disruption.
Wow, wow, wow!
Yeah,
That's so big. I mean, that's a very big concept.
yeah,
I'm glad you shared a little bit part of that. I think
yeah,
I think if we talk, we could talk for hours and hours about that little concept. But I think so. What I understood from your saying is
yeah,
like so for India we may be going through a lot of technology disruptions, but mostly the electric mobility could be the next bigger disruption, I guess. So coming
yeah.
for example, I
In
will
a time, yeah,
yeah.
in a decade of time, it will be a progressive,
Yes,
exponential transformation we
yes,
will see.
yes,
But like,
absolutely.
I'm giving you an example of like how we have seen closely. I mean, I do not know if you remember 1980s.
Hmm.
Like you have this basic, even you just have these phones with dial like this,
Yeah,
and then you got a uh, and then you got these STD phones,
STD phone.
and then you've got these basic phones,
Basic.
and then you moved away from basic phones to smartphones now. Like
Yes,
there is a generation of uh, you know how,
yes,
now the information architecture is completely changed, even
yes,
even
totally.
with respect to internet, how 4G has changed our
Yeah.
lives from 2G to 4G when we moved, even 3G, and as we building ecosystems, the next ecosystems are, because uh, these are the these are the interventions which are currently happening, and
Happening.
building your new sectors around this would be like yeah uh, a great thing, like migrating your new sectors from conventional.
Conventional.
The India imports a lot of petrol and diesel,
Yes.
and we pay a lot of foreign exchange when we import,
Unbelievable.
and it's a saving on our imports, and it's also great solution to at least the tailpipe emissions are zero for electric vehicles.
Ah,
So yeah, it'll be good for environment
yes.
and all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are looking at the news like Ola designed a bike, an electric bike, and it got a full rush of sales within minutes and seconds. That was an example right now. And also Tesla, they are planning for a new plant in India. That was one of the examples, and I think there are a lot of examples that, as you said, the electric mobility in whatever the mode of transport, like the cars or bikes or the buses or the trains. So whatever the mode of transport. So I think we will agree that the next technological disruption would be the electric mobility.
Yeah, yeah,
That's very
yeah.
cool.
A surprising fact is
Hmm.
our railways have 70% of our railway network has been electrified
Electric.
already. Within a
Ah,
few years, you will see all our we are running on 100% electrified, railway networks. So
wow.
yeah, and
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. That's very good. That's very good.
yeah.
And so we'll come to. Uh, I just want to ask you. Can you tell a motivational story for the audience, like something inspiring to make them understand about your and what you think about life and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes back to 1961 when President John F. Kennedy, visiting NASA headquarters for the first time, in 1961. And while touring the facility, he happened to introduce himself to a janitor who was mopping the floor, and President Kennedy asks him like, "Hey, hi, and what what you did at what are you doing at NASA?" And then this janitor says, "Mr. President, I am helping put a man on the moon." He said again, like, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." You know, the work of janitor is mopping the floor, but he feels himself like, his words again, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." I mean, the janitor understood the vision, and he's part of it, and it he had a purpose. Like, is whatever, you know what he's doing. It's not the end of his life. He connected to the bigger purpose.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "I am helping put a man on the moon," and this has helped me to see a new myself, in my disappointments. In a lot of situations, this has helped me to see a new myself, and with a purpose in every day of my life. And no matter whatever we do, whatever we are working, be a website that you might be designing, or writing content for someone, or maybe designing a video for someone, or doing something. No matter what you're doing, in the end, you are part of this bigger picture, helping building the better society.
Absolutely.
Building a better society. So,
Yeah,
May we all have this. May we all have this, like this janitor who had this, a vision, or a purpose. May we all have this purpose, like to build better societies.
Awesome. That's very good. I think the story is similar. I mean, we can transition the same story, connecting with the pixel story. Pixel story. I mean, he just did not look at the pixels around him, but he looked at the pixels. I mean, the bigger pixels, right? That's one thing we could agree on. And I think as you said, you I mean, uh, like the purpose and the vision, that has to be interlinked with uh, the betterment to the society. I think we can call something like that, right?
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
amazing, Joseph, amazing. I'm very glad about the story, and it's really inspiring. So
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Super.
Great, Tracy. Thank you.
Super. And finally, we discussed a lot about yourself, about your childhood, your upbringing, your education, and also you gave us an explanation about the challenges you faced as a kid and a teenager, and also you shared about your journey working with various governments, and standing firm on your fundamentals and basics, and you
Yeah.
gave us a lot of information about the electric mobility concept, and about your beliefs in why it's going to be the next technological disruption in India. And it's very inspiring, and the motivational story about the janitor and the Kennedy, the conversation between them, they are very cool. And I think we are almost done with the question. uh, Finally, if the you are a very inspiring person for us, and you motivate us, and for me personally, you give a lot of suggestions, and you show the importance of life, and the decision making things, and those are very the best things I learned from you. I could say that. And for any youngsters or people who are similar to me and who want your suggestions, how can they contact you? How can they talk to you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad, as you repeatedly said, I've made a good impact on you. I'm glad
Absolutely.
on that. It
Yes.
was tough time, but it was very tough time. But yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, we were
we come through a
a
long
long
way,
way.
and
Yeah, long way.
yeah. Any of your friends can reach out to me through my LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, you can. They
Yeah.
can search me with my name, Jospeh Teja, and yeah, and yeah,
Okay,
they
I
can
will.
connect with me on
I think I will.
LinkedIn.
I'll place your LinkedIn link in the description of the video,
Yeah,
so that it
yeah,
will be helpful for the
totally.
audience. Awesome, awesome, Joseph. I'm very glad that you're here to share your knowledge and your wisdom to us, and it's very inspiring about the stories you told us. And we are very honored that you're here, and we will keep in touch. We'll keep in touch,
Thank you,
and.
Tracy.
I wish you very good luck on your career, on your future projects,
Thank
and and yeah, Godspeed, Godspeed.
Thank you,
Godspeed.
Tracy. Pleasure
Thank
is
you,
mine. And yeah, I also wish you all the best. And as I said, I am so proud of you with your initiative.
thank
And
you,
yeah, keep going.
thank
All the
you,
best.
thank you so much.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys. All right,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Thank you for staying in the session. We will continue with the next session, and stay tuned to the channel and stay tuned to the pages. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye. Bye.